really something if I ever consumed alcohol. So I know one drink versus several drinks feels. So how does like the equivalent of that? Like if you had your normal, like what does it feel like when you tripled your normal?
Honestly, time goes by quickly. It's almost like you're discombobulated a little bit, if that makes sense. You're so high, you kind of lose touch with reality.
So how does that usually feel? Like what?
It's almost like that tunnel vision. You focus on this one thing, down, getting high. So but you should have more. You're just focused on that one thing. But when you get that high or whatever, you start like, as they say, like, I didn't know the shit like made sense. It's like delusions in your own mind, but you lose touch with reality.
Like, are you seeing things or your brain is just like making up stories?
Your brain makes up shit.
Yeah.
You can end up doing things like, you don't even remember like getting up and making up high and kind of doing. That used to happen so a lot. There's 20 accounts that I have opened up in the past, and like there's food out there or cars going somewhere else, and I just don't know who.
Yeah.
And I blame Jeremiah. I blame Danny
For like going out like
when I was on sick or something. I swear up and down that he did.
But you think it was you when you were just on?
It's a possibility now that I know the effects, the extent of the effects that it can have on your brain, punch holes into your brain.
How long does that last? Like that particular feeling?
It's hard to.
Like a cookie is 15 to 30 minutes for how long? Like what does this combo do?
Makes you very energetic, very numb feeling, and you're having a lot of racing thoughts. Sometimes I hear things like it's not true, right there. Sometimes you see things, it's not there. But there are times that they don't eat, like shadow people. There's times that they're late for days on it. I'm not paranoid with a kid. Me too as a kid. And honestly, I can't even tell you half the shit I said. I can't even tell you half the shit I said, during those times. It's like, it's all a mixture of things, but I can't tell you what was going on.
Will it come back later, or is it just like?
It's almost like you're playing out and drinking. You might get bits and pieces here and there, but you never get the full thing at the time.
So it's not like a dream where you were kind of aware.
Yeah, you get bits and pieces in there, and then you never get the full. Sometimes someone's like, you did this, and you're like, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Same thing happened when you get so high.
So
It's like, you just don't know. It's almost like the light is on, you know it's on.
you're like on autopilot.
Yeah.
So like in hindsight, now you think that's what happened?
I think it's a possibility. So I was still crying in class when they mentioned that some people get so high that their brain kind of just shuts down and they go on about it.
Yeah.
Well, because I went to class and was saying and just started crying and she was just like, what's wrong? And I was just like, I just don't know what to think anymore. And naturally just go up to things that I was doing what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like at least by like 1-3, you were pretty, at least alert enough to drive safely, and all that. So kind of been for very long if you did consider it like that, right?
They say that it makes it last between up to an hour to 2 hours to make you can move and function like you're home. Even in your head home, that you're not.
Yeah. So by the time like then you kind of come out, your memories get more clear and remember driving and operating car and going different places. Just kind of click back in.
Make sure so it makes sense of everything. But I can't make sense of what happened before I left the house is my time.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, it does.
I don't know exactly what happened.
Do you remember driving?
I remember driving back. I remember driving back home. There's a whole other.
How about feeling? Do you remember any feelings or?
Well, I felt a lot of numbness. I had to do with probably drugs. Honestly, they numb your feelings. They're like a suppressant. They numb your feelings. They numb just everything. Your body in general. Your lips, your nose. just wanted everything was gone. Like at that point, somebody put it in the sledgehammer.
You would have later.
Later, yes. Just, things are devastating. Everything I know is the same thing, do this.
My mommy, Savannah and I have been here with you from the start. I think you know that.
Yeah.
Her and I have basically been attached to your family, and I think both of us have an emotional connection to what happened.
Yeah.
And everyone right here wants to know what happened.
Which is why I get problem. His name was Phil. He's got a really problem. And on top of that, and I started putting the pieces together for that, you know?
Yeah. You know,
I just don't want to believe that I have no idea how fucked up I was. I just don't want to believe that. Something like that.
Things happen. None of us were in that position, none of us are now. But the best way we can move forward is finding out what happened. And I don't want it to come down to some bad person telling us. I don't want there to be any guess. I'm tired of the stories from the media, and I'm sure you are.
we don't know what they're gonna say when it comes out that we found him. You know, and we've seen how they treated you for the last, almost 2 months. And without your side of the story, it's gonna be whatever they want to say.
I'm aware of that. I don't remember hearing him at all. I don't remember taking him and doing anything like this.
She's never coming back.
I remember coming home. When I got home, I had to my wife. And someone wanted that in bed. Someone was like, everything was just normal. I don't know, way home and didn't understand exactly what I was in the car.
What about the next morning? When you went to church?
So when I woke up, devastated. When I went back to look at the thing, he wasn't there. I was really devastated. I just started screaming and calling everybody for help.
So when did you remember that stuff that happened?
What happened?
Which I think she means at least try.
Or just something?
The dragon?
Yeah.
When I talked about it, I was twins and like, I was ready for early tracks and everything. I was just like, what am I doing? I just, I didn't think that I did something like that and thinking maybe I would do some drugs or pick up some drugs or something. I've done that before and, fuck what I do. So much damage happened when I went to the hotel. I don't know what to do about this feeling. I didn't know all these things about the drugs I was doing. Now it just baffles me. Because I don't understand. Who was even making do some crazy shit? I don't know.
I mean, when you talked about like the delusions and things like that, or just Francie's mind, is there something that would, things up when they're not supposed to be, or like demanding some attention, is there something that,
He was a good baby. When I was trying to lay down, he would sit down, relax on the sofa.
was that ever annoying or just kind of really distracting?
It was cute, honestly. It was someone actually singing to himself. We would sit there and laugh about it, trying to stay up his side, so we would jump out. I'd peek around the corner.
I have 2 cats and I barely take care of them. I can't imagine 3 children and the stress of everything that happened that night.
I can't speak, I'm just kind of trying.
Yeah.
I just want to love him so much. Like I was saying, that sometimes when people are drugs, when they realize that I'm not there, they'll say I'm close. And I just ball with it. I believe. I don't know what I believe I do.
It's a hard thing to come to terms with, preventing it from allowing you to kind of from the outside in to help with that kind of thing too. Just kind of curious, so you woke up that morning, devastated obviously, and remember, coming back from Thalia. When did things kind of click in that, with the orange album, Bubba and all that, like,
I didn't
what was going through your head?
I had worked on the car, it's the only thing that made sense. I didn't go to the store.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person I know that only has worked there was Misty. So that was the only thing in my mind that made sense. That's why I don't know. So when she's like the only person I know out there except that you do Mark we used to work with. But I don't think I saw that incident. Oh no. I don't know if we're stopping Mary. Really, we're gonna come back, come over the railroad tracks, like the bumps in the railroad tracks, so just takes that back in.
Yeah. Do you remember going into it then? Like the turn or anything? Hearing anything?
Because you gave us pretty detailed
Story, and I was looking at that like 360 thing, and I was just like, no shot. I'm gonna go there, that's where I'm going. And I was thinking, how many Misty or something,
Yeah.
Which would make sense. Oh, no, come working in your military church, and I was out of my brain, and it's so hard. I want this picture of like, I had to try to remember the dreams if I have it and I don't, because they say some things can come out of dreams. And that's just totally my dreams.
You're welcome.
You don't have no dreams or anything like that, I just don't understand it.
What do you think people are going to say when it comes out that we found him?
Poor mother. I'm trying to try. God knows exactly what I'm saying.
What can you say to that?
There's no intention of it. It's not that I was planned out. It's not like I wanted to.
Do you think that you may have?
But things weren't playing out, and like you said, you worked really hard in the last, month and a half to get clean and to recognize safe coping mechanisms and that kind of thing. But, a lot of times the wrong things line up, and something happens, and you remember leaving the dumpster, which is exactly how we were to find him. We found him exactly in the middle of where we were looking, based on what you told us about coming to Grizzly and stopping at the dumpster. We went with, because it was, so knowing all of that, knowing you're in a state and something happens and you try to fix it right away. And I think in some ways tried to make it go away like it wasn't real. And then you woke up and realized it was real. But, we know that that's what happened, and it's maybe something you're gonna have to come on with, and we know that people have been very cruel, in the YouTuber culture and all of that I had never experienced or seen. I had never seen anything like that. You know that they're gonna make their own stories now. And so I really hope that you can give you a second to just kind of think of what your story would be, for yourself. Because the only way to give Quinn peace and to give yourself peace and move forward for all of you is to realize and acknowledge what happened. And like you said, there was no premeditation, there's no planning, and frankly, I think if you would plan things, it would have not gone away from you, because it's not planned, but your actions from that night are what brought us all here, and again, because you remember the trip to the dumpster is how we filmed, again, from head to toe, we filmed it. And so I really want you to
I've been thinking, and everything, and nothing comes to my mind. How, what I could possibly done, and I don't know what could possibly happened. And I was just not a little girl, and I was gone. And I'm gonna fathom it. I don't know that today I'm going to.
try.
This my life now, because I wouldn't even know the race I would have been. I wish I knew my life.
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that something did. We do figure out what happened.
And there's a lot of really smart people right now. Running all their science on that. We're gonna see what they have to say. I really don't think that you wanted this to happen.
Because of what life did.
And you know, there's still your reason. And even though Quentin's not here, he's still your reason. All three of them. And right now, the reason for Quentin, that I think we all want is, you know, this is what we know definitively happened. And now there's two of you that know that story, you know. And hopefully Quentin's able to tell us. And we really hope that you're able to know your own truth and kind of know what will, you know, your own action place, because there's no way for you to heal from it without being able to face it and see it as what it is. Like you said, it wasn't this long-term Ocean's 11 keeper of, you know, harming your child. You know, you did harm your child and you hit him, you know. And that's just, it's just facts. It isn't under I mean, I've never lied to you about anything. I've never said anything to you that I didn't know for a fact to be true. And I don't believe that you hit him. But you hit him in the dumpster because you had harmed him in some way before that.
I said that I did do something. I wasn't there. Wasn't there.
Does she think that can come out? Like, how scary is it though to think that you have this gap? So how do you get
And
it out?
I asked her, I thought that she thought I'd get it back, and she said, honestly, if you black out, you might not. It's a 50-50 chance. You're just like when somebody blacks out from being drunk. You might not.
Yeah. Your brain just didn't process it anymore.
So what's the last thing you remember before?
Saying I'm in bed.
And then it goes to driving back from Zoe.
Did you see him in the bed right when you got home or at some point? Like, you came home and did a plane and you saw him?
Yeah, I was he was lying in bed.
So what, that was like the, like,
10 something, 10:40 something.
just on the right home from the right trip. And that's your last memory all of that night? You don't remember?
And then
Yeah.
I said I had the railroad tracks, and I was just like, what
Now, at the end there, what did she arrive at ultimately for the period of time for which she was claiming a total lack of memory?
She said the last thing that she remembered was looking at Quentin and then driving back from Azalea.
Looking at Quentin after the Arkwright trip.
Yes, and then blacking out and then coming back to it as she's coming back from Azalea.
And what was she saying in there about what caused her to start forming memories again on the way back from Azalea?
Hitting the railroad tracks.
Okay, so fair to say she's claiming something like a 2-hour plus total lack of memory?
Yeah, she would have gotten back from Arkwright shortly after 11, and then she gets back from Azalea around 1:30. So yes.
Okay. And is it fair to say that that period of time for which she's claiming a total lack of memory would encompass both the time period in which law enforcement believed the murder had occurred and the time period in which the disposal of Quentin's body had occurred?
Yes.
So just like the times of the crimes.
Yes, it is.
This next clip, what is this clip movie?
So this is us touching on her previous statement back on 10/12, where she's describing very vividly how she threw away the trash, and we're asking her to revisit that memory that she's had. And she's telling us that there's 2 trash bags, and then you'll hear me ask specifically whether or not Quentin was in those trash bags.
And does she outright deny that Quentin was in one of those trash bags?
She does not.
And this clip is later in time than the bit we just watched.
Yes, it is.
This is when y'all are kind of reminding her of her previous statements, which seem to conflict with what she's just told you about this total lack of memory.
Correct.
The story with Sam and Brad.
There was another trash bag there
Was that what Quentin was in?
before, there was like, 2 bags maybe. And then I can't remember. I know there was full of food. Anyone that was trying to get rid of.
Did she use a trash bag?
I don't recall the brand of trash bag from the house. I don't recall nothing from before I left their house or from there.
Did we hear you? She said there was a trash bag in there, right?
Yes.
And then you said, "Is that what Quentin was in?" Is
Yes.
that right? And at that point, did she say, "Well, there were 2 trash bags"?
Yes.
And did we hear you ask her, "Did you use a trash bag?"
Yes, I did.
And by that, did you mean, did you use a trash bag to dispose of Quentin's body?
Yes.
And was her answer to that, "I don't remember grabbing a trash bag"?
That was her answer.
In other words, she didn't say, "Well, hold on, I didn't dispose of his body."
She did not say that.
Mr. Dean, how long is this setting?
It is about 3 minutes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Or this would be the third one. Do you remember what it is that we're going to hear in this clip, more or less?
So we're challenging her on her many stories throughout the last 2 months, and why she said these stories to us if she didn't have a memory, why she constantly changed, what happened that night, who went out to Azalea. It's kind of just our last crack at trying to find out what really happened.
And we're like, why did you tell us several times different stories?
I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. You said it was good. 2 times that Brad sat there and told me that I killed my son. He's like, no, little mother, isn't it? And he watched me. I had no memory, so I know exactly where that. I know there was trash. Right now, I think the next thing's coming is that it was totally or jail. And when he said there was nowhere to go or jail, that's I think it was the other theory.
Which is,
That was totally trash. Get out of the house first. Wait for Daddy for a minute.
but we know now that that trip to Azalea, Quentin was there. So in back to that statement you made to Savannah and Brock. You remember seeing the trash bag, looking into it?
I didn't look into it. How tired it was.
Okay. So you didn't actually look into it?
The only thing that could have been was funny food.
You were pretty discreet with them.
Because we had the smell, the smell of like shrimp pasta. Now I know that smell. It's the same smell of beer when we took it out of the fridge and threw it away.
Do you remember wrapping it up?
I remember tying it back together so I could throw it in there. It wasn't heavy at all.
No, they lied to me. Do you remember him being in that trash bag? We know at this point he was.
I don't remember that, but I remember him in a bag. I don't remember going in the house. I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
Why did you tell us all the story about just all of these stories, pretty much?
I'm trying to get sense of it myself. He was the one who said, I saw you in the trash and threw it away.
And let me show you something. Chris, it's gonna help with what Lynn is asking right now. This is a very small fraction of the mountain. What that looks like a hill is trash. And everything's so black and that is trash. You see how little those people are. Do you think that we could have found him if we didn't know that you put him in the dumpster and we knew exactly where that dumpster went? Yeah.
Did we hear her say the word theory at some point in there?
That's what she refers to it, yes.
What was the theory thing? What was she saying?
She's saying that every time that she lied to us was her sharing her latest theory.
In other words, she wasn't claiming that she was making factual statements about what happened. She was saying she was just kind of throwing out theories.
Yes,
She was describing was she describing the Oragel story as just a theory that she had proposed?
yes,
And was she saying that she had only proposed it because, well, she had come to and found Oragel and was trying to figure out how?
yeah, she said she found it in her vehicle and that's the only thing that made sense to her.
And did she describe her story about throwing away trash as just a theory that she had come up with in response to Brad asking her whether she had thrown away trash?
Yes,
Now, I want to just ask you about a couple features of these prior stories that she's referring to as theories, okay?
okay,
You talked to her on October 5th when she first launched the Oragel story, right?
yes, I did.
Did this story include who she had gotten it from?
Yes, it did.
Did it include where she had gotten it?
Yes,
Did it include when she had gotten it?
yes,
Did it include why she had wanted it and obtained it?
yes,
Did it include details such as how many tubes of Oragel she got and how many were opened already and how many were unopened?
yes,
The story about throwing away trash that she gave to Special Agent Snyder and Special Agent Solomon on October 12th, did that include such details as specifically what the trash was,
yes, it did.
what it smelled like,
Yes,
how long it had been in the car,
yes,
when she first registered the odor of the trash,
yes,
what kind of trash bag it was,
yes,
what color the ties on the trash bag were.
yes, it was a very vivid story.
An admission to having looked inside the trash bag before throwing it away.
Yes, she said that.
An estimate of how much the trash bag weighed.
Yes,
And a statement about the exact physical mechanics of how many hands she used to put it in the dumpster.
yes,
You had either conducted those interviews or observed them prior to this interview, right?
correct.
Did any of those things sound like mere theories to you at the time that she said them?
No, they did not.
Now, in this interview, particularly in the first bit we watched, the 20-minute bit, was she asked at some point by you, I think we can all agree that something did happen.
Yes,
And did she nod her head yes in response to that?
yes, she did.
Um, Was she asked, do you think you may have killed him or something to that effect?
Yes,
And is it the case that she was just not able to give an answer to that or just didn't really say anything?
that's correct.
Was she, at some point, did Special Agent Solomon say, you harmed your child and hid him, or words to that effect?
Yes, she said that.
And is it fair to say that the defendant just did not affirmatively dispute that? She didn't say, no, I didn't.
She did not.
And separately, did Special Agent Solomon say, you hid him in the dumpster because you had harmed him in some way?
She said that.
And did she also fail to dispute that statement?
Yes, she did.